Welcome to the Smart Weight Loss Coaching Podcast. I'm Dr. Lisa Oldson, a board-certified weight loss medicine specialist and certified life coach. In this podcast, I'll share fresh insights and effective techniques for incorporating mindset, habit change, and proven science into your life. Are you ready to achieve sustainable weight loss, wellness, and longevity? Then let's jump in and lose weight the smart way. Welcome back. People often ask me what I take in terms of vitamins and supplements. If you've followed my work, you know I'm a fan of getting my nutrients from actual whole foods, not from supplements or from foods that have ingredients added to make them sound healthy. For example, ice cream with added protein strikes me as manipulative. You're trying to draw people into eating more ice cream by justifying that it's healthy because of the added protein, which it's not. That's classic for the food industry. And lots of products have what appear to be a slew of vitamins added to their ingredient list for no particular reason other than perhaps to distract from other unhealthy or ultra-processed ingredients. I'm already going off on a tangent, so let's get back to supplements, and I'll share a little more about what I do for my health. But of course, you and your doctor should talk about what's best for you as an individual. Personally, I don't use protein powder, even though I eat very little meat, because I know I can and do get enough protein from plant sources. Besides, most protein powder is ultra-processed, which you'll discover if you read the ingredient list under the nutrition label. I don't take a multivitamin because there's no research telling us that the average person who's a reasonably good eater will benefit from taking a multivitamin supplement. I don't even take vitamin D supplements because for all the years we've recommended that healthy people without bone disease take vitamin D when the levels were just slightly low, it turns out that we haven't improved health outcomes. Again, talk with your doctor about your vitamin D needs, but for me, I don't have a compelling reason to take that. You get the idea. I'm not a big vitamin or supplement person. However, I thought perhaps it was time to come clean about the one supplement I do take regularly: creatine. Creatine helps to supply energy to our muscles, which is particularly important for short bursts of high-intensity movement, like if you're running to catch a plane or lifting a heavy suitcase. It also helps our muscles to perform better during resistance or strength training exercises. Our bodies naturally make creatine in the liver, the kidneys, and the pancreas. And we also get some from our diet if we consume animal meat, seafood, or dairy products. You may be coming into this with the same bias I used to have, which is that creatine is for bodybuilders and powerlifters who spend their days in the gym. Turns out that couldn't be further from the truth. As we get into middle age and beyond, building and maintaining muscle is about more than just looking good in a pair of shorts or a bathing suit. Preserving or even building more muscle is definitely important for women in perimenopause, in menopause, and for older adults who want to build lean muscle, get stronger, reduce frailty, and boost their metabolism. I hope you caught that this is not a supplement for men. It's useful for both men and women. According to the Cleveland Clinic, creatine is safe for people who are healthy. This is true even in older age groups, and there's ample evidence that combined with resistance training, creatine helps with both strength and lean muscle mass. What's cool is that there's data showing creatine might even help reduce body fat. It's not burning fat directly, but it probably helps because having more muscle and training more efficiently gives you an overall better metabolic engine. When we have more muscle, we burn more fuel. Of course, creatine is not a magic bullet, but you already knew that. If you're listening to this podcast, I know you're pretty committed to losing weight, improving your health span, and improving your overall health in a smart, science-backed way. You know there's no magic pill or powder that's going to allow you to eat sweets or treats every day and still improve your body composition, meaning the amount of muscle versus fat tissue in your body. The weight loss and body composition fairy is not a thing. So we're all going to have to get healthy and manage our fat and muscle mass with old-fashioned effort. When you lift weights or do resistance training, creatine is like a tool that helps you get more from every session. You'll build more muscle, recover faster from your workouts, and you'll improve your metabolism. It works alongside the effort you're already putting in to strengthen your muscles. Let's look at 3 research examples that touch on creatine use in midlife. In one 12-week study, looking specifically at older women, doing resistance training 3 times per week, along with taking 5 grams per day of creatine, led to improvements in strength, functional performance, and increased fat-free mass, mostly meaning muscle. The strength benefits were seen specifically with bench press and knee extension exercises. In another study, a meta-analysis in people ages 57 through 70 found significant gains in lean tissue mass, mostly muscle, and strength when they combined creatine with resistance training. For those of you looking to reduce fat as well as increase lean muscle, there's evidence that creatine plus resistance training helps reduce body fat percentage more than resistance or weight training alone. In a meta-analysis of adults over 50 years old, creatine led to a greater drop in body fat percentage compared to placebo, although the benefit was modest. Andrew Huberman of the Huberman Lab also highlights some lesser-known benefits of creatine, specifically that it supports brain energy, which may help memory and cognition. Emerging evidence shows that creatine supports brain energy. Some older adults who take creatine see improvements in short-term memory and reasoning, so it could be a 2-for-1 benefit for strength as well as brain function. But before you ditch your Sudokus and start taking creatine for your brain, let me say that I did a deep dive into the research in preparation for today's episode. And I think the research tells us there might be something there, but I wouldn't call it conclusive. More like interesting and worthy of more study. I wouldn't personally start taking creatine for the cognitive benefits yet if I wasn't taking it as part of my resistance training protocol. It's just too soon to say what the real-life benefit, if any, will be. Stay tuned for more on that. I'll be listening closely myself as I'm always on the lookout for research about how to increase our health span and to protect our brain health. What about creatine myths? Harvard Health points out that creatine is not a steroid and it's not a testosterone supplement. You won't bulk up like a bodybuilder from taking creatine with your workouts. Believe me, if it was either of those things, I wouldn't be taking it. But before we talk about the details for how to take creatine, what dose to take, and so on, let's break for a quick word from our sponsor. Just kidding. It's still me, Dr. Lisa Oldson, physician and founder of Smart Weight Loss Coaching. If you're as focused on your health as you are on the scale, you're my person. In my online program, we'll help you establish healthy habits for weight loss, better health, and longevity. If you'd like to learn more about our affordable monthly membership, head over to smartweightlosscoaching.com. We would love to help you transform the way you approach weight loss so it takes up less brain space and frees up your time for other things you love to do. Join us to see how different a smart weight loss program can be. And we're back. Just a quick recap. According to the Cleveland Clinic and many other sources, creatine supplements may improve exercise performance, aid in recovery after a workout, and increase lean muscle mass. It sounds pretty promising. I know some of you are wondering if you might be a candidate for creatine, and if so, how to take it. First, let me remind you that although I am a doctor, I'm probably not your doctor. You should always run things by your own doctor and get their medical advice before taking any supplements. There are some people who shouldn't take creatine, including, for example, pregnant women and those with kidney problems. If you're getting blood work done, by the way, it's important that you let your doctor know that you're taking creatine because, as I mentioned, it may interfere with your creatinine levels. That's a common blood test that looks at your kidney function. Your doctor will probably advise you to stop the creatine supplementation for a few days before you have any blood work done. Let's imagine that your doctor is on board with you taking creatine and you're wondering how to get started. According to Harvard Health, you should choose creatine monohydrate. It's the most studied form of creatine. There are other fancier sounding formulations, but there's currently no evidence that these provide additional benefits. So just keep it simple. I support Harvard Health's recommendation to use 3 to 5 grams per day, although other sources recommend using 5 grams only on days that you do resistance training, which is what I currently do. I find it motivates me to do my resistance training more regularly, and that's critical because creatine only works to build muscle strength and mass when it's coupled with resistance training. It doesn't create muscle out of nothing. Rather, it strengthens muscles when you work your muscles. So definitely don't take it if you're not doing weight training or resistance training. For those of us who aren't bodybuilders or professional powerlifters, a modest dose, like 3 to 5 grams per day or 5 grams on workout days, is enough. And you don't necessarily need a complicated loading phase, although some people, especially on social media, will promote a more complex loading dose to get you started. Also, for goodness sakes, please don't buy into the mentality that if a little bit is good, more is better. Experts, including me, agree that megadosing creatine is a bad idea. In fact, Harvard's guidance repeatedly warns against megadosing. Like me, they're conservative about supplements and caution that more is not always better. What about the downsides and side effects of creatine? There are potential side effects like water retention or mild gastrointestinal upset. Sometimes people ask me about weight gain with creatine. I don't worry about that. There's no increase in fat mass or body fat percentage with creatine. And although there can be a little bit of water retention in the muscles, this should have no lasting effect on weight. If you see a pound or two of water weight gain in the first couple of weeks, the long-term studies indicate that should resolve. I consider creatine to be pretty weight neutral as long as you're paying attention to your weight and the things we talk about to support it, like healthy eating, adequate sleep, exercise, and stress management. We all need to do those things anyway, regardless of whether or not we're taking creatine. Keep in mind that supplements are minimally regulated. I recommend looking for quality marks on the label, like USP verified or NSF verified. Those help ensure that the supplement really contains what it says it does. NSF is an independent public health organization that tests supplements to ensure they contain what they claim to contain and that they're free from harmful contaminants. It's the closest thing to a quality control seal that we have in the supplement industry. Oh gosh, I didn't mention, but I should, that I have absolutely no financial connection to any business making or selling creatine. I'm just sharing with you what I've learned about it because I'm convinced that it's a useful tool in our health and wellness toolbox. As I've mentioned, creatine isn't a miracle supplement, but used wisely, it can help you preserve muscle, boost strength, and maybe even support your brain. All the things that matter as we age. Supplementing allows you to train harder or do more repetitions with weights, which means you can push a little more in strength exercises and recover faster. That's what builds more lean muscle over time. For you women out there in midlife who are working to reduce fat, build lean muscle, and improve metabolism and strength, adding creatine may give you a small but meaningful edge, provided you're using it with resistance training, eating adequate protein, and recovering properly after working out. Remember that supplementation is the support act. The main act is training and nutrition. Okay, friends, it's time to nail down your NBA, your next best action for today. Perhaps you'd like to read a little more about creatine or ask your doctor if there are any concerns about you taking it. Maybe you want to focus on increasing your resistance training so you can pair that up with creatine, knowing it only works when you're working your muscles. Whatever you decide to do, even if it's just a tiny step forward, I believe in you. You've got this. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like more support during your smart weight loss journey, check out our group coaching program at smartweightlosscoaching.com. Until next time, stay well and stay smart.